Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
I am so frustrated. This is Frank Agan, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections, and your host for the Networking RX podcast. Am I really frustrated? Not really, but I do want to talk about frustration today. Frustration comes in many shapes and sizes, as you know. I think it's just part of life to be frustrated. There are certain frustrations that in the short term we can't control. We can't control the weather. We might be frustrated that it's cold or it's rainy or it's so blazing hot. In the short run, we can't necessarily control traffic. You get stuck in traffic, there's really not a whole lot you can do. Long term, you can avoid taking a certain way. But short term, when you're in it, and there's really not a whole lot you can do. So you can be frustrated or just deal with it. Then there are other frustrations. We have lots of other frustrations. I've had frustrations with my kids. I think if you're a parent, you can relate to that. We probably have frustrations in business. Business not going well, expenses out of control, all sorts of frustrations that come with respect to business. And of course, this is a podcast on networking, so we can certainly talk about frustrations with respect to networking. Our networks not working the way we would like them to work, not working as fast as we'd like them to work. So frustrations are just a part of life, things we need to deal with. We have frustrations regarding the weather, traffic, business, kids, spouses, workers, co-workers, and our networking. Frustration is it's there. But this is what I've learned with respect to frustration. Certainly with frustration with respect to networking. Is that frustration doesn't stem from a lack of results. It stems from a lack of effort to create results. Let me say that again. Frustration doesn't stem from a lack of results. It stems from a lack of effort to create results. Let me give you an example. It's New Year's Day. Maybe it's a few days after New Year's Day, but it's the new year, and you get on the scale and you're like, holy cow, how did I put on 15 pounds? You got caught up in what I call the trifecta of celebrations. You've got Halloween, lots of candy, lots of sweets. Then that quickly rolls into Thanksgiving, and we all know it comes with Thanksgiving, lots of eating. It's not just Thanksgiving Day, but it's the day after and the day after, eating leftovers, being with family and whatnot. And then that quickly rolls into the holidays. Whether you celebrate Christmas or don't, there are celebrations with respect to the holidays. There's holiday parties. There's get-togethers with family. There's football, 14 days of football, NFL playoffs. It just kind of goes and goes and goes. And so it's not uncommon or it's not unreasonable to think that you hop on the scale on January 2nd, being 15 pounds heavier. In that moment, you are frustrated. You are angry with yourself. You're angry that you let it happen to yourself yet again. You worked hard all summer and on into the fall to hone yourself, to be disciplined, and then you fall off the wagon starting late October, and now you're looking at the situation, and you're like, oh my God, I've got to start all over again. You're completely frustrated. You're completely angry with yourself. That's a frustration. That frustration doesn't stem from a lack of results, or actually not lack of results, too much result, I guess, in this situation, but it doesn't stem from the number that the scale is reporting back to you. It stems from your lack of effort to create a better situation. So in that moment, you're angry with yourself and you just kind of resolve, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with the overeating. I'm done with the carbs. I'm done with the sweets. I'm going to get myself back into shape. And so in your mind, you devise a plan. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to go buy healthy foods. I'm going to get rid of the junk we have, the leftover pies and all that stuff. I'm going to get rid of it all, and that's your plan. And the thing is that the moment you have a plan, all your frustration goes away. Yeah, you haven't lost an ounce. None of that's changed. But the frustration goes away because you have a plan. And so frustration doesn't stem from a lack of results. It stems from a lack of effort to create results. Let me give you an example that's closer to home, closer to networking. I have a chapter of AmSpirit Business Connections that for about a year really struggled. It struggled with lots of things. I won't get into all of it. It struggled with its location. It struggled with members leaving. It struggled with members not being committed. And there was lots of talk about that chapter just folding. They were frustrated. Everybody was frustrated. Everybody was kind of mad at every little thing, mad when any little thing didn't work out, mad with the lack of what they were getting, mad with the lack of the people who were attending, the guests that were attending. They were frustrated at everything and everybody. And they had a new president take over. This was mid-December. He took over, and he immediately sent an email out to the membership and said, you know what, this chapter matters to me. I want to make this chapter a great chapter. And what he did was he just put forth a plan. Here's my plan as to how we're going to make it great. We're going to set goals, and we're going to follow up with those goals, and we're going to keep after these goals. I won't get into everything that was said and done, but then they met and they talked about this plan. Nothing had changed. There had been no new guests. There had been no referrals given, but the attitude of the chapter completely changed. It completely changed because they had the results hadn't changed, but all of a sudden they had a plan to get results. So frustration stems from not the fact that you don't have results. It stems from the fact that you aren't doing things to create results. So let's relate this back to just general networking. Let's talk about diets. Let's not talk about AmSpirit Business Connections. Let's just talk about general networking. You're frustrated, if you are frustrated. But if you're frustrated, ask yourself, is it the fact that you're not getting results, or is it the fact that you really don't have a plan to get results? And if you're honest with yourself, it's probably because you don't have a plan to get results. If that's the case, what you need to do as soon as this episode is up is stop what you're doing, stop, and formulate a plan. It doesn't need to be a perfect plan. It just needs to be a plan. Hey, I'm going to get on LinkedIn and I'm going to make 3 comments every day, meaningful comments on things that other people are posting. I'm going to connect with people who have looked at my profile. I'm going to go and find the networking events that are happening this month in the area, and I'm going to put 5 on my calendar or 2 on my calendar. I'm going to reach out to people that I've lost touch with and invite them to lunch or invite them to have a telephone conversation. And you map out a plan, you put it in writing, and when that plan's done, I'll tell you right now, you'll no longer be frustrated. Your frustration will have evaporated. Nothing will have changed as far as results, but your frustration will have gone away because you have a plan. Frustration doesn't stem from a lack of results. It stems from a lack of effort to create results.
Hey, got a minute? This is Shannon Walker. I have a marketing and promotional products business. I get to help small businesses and professionals make a great impression with their logo, image, and corporate message. While this is my main business, a couple hours in the morning, a few days a week, I'm a franchisee with AmSpirit Business Connections. This has been one of the best business decisions I've made. Why? Because as I help entrepreneurs, sales reps, and professionals in my area generate quality business referrals through the AmSpirit Business Connections program, this network I serve helps me grow my business. If you're interested in learning more about the AmSpirit Business Connections franchise opportunity, contact Frank Egan using the email at the end of this program. If you want to talk about my marketing or about my experience as a franchisee, email me at shannon@walkerpromotion.com. We'll find a time to talk. I'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.